Previously on Cold Fear.
Help me! What the hell is that? Great, it's locked.
Hello and welcome back. We've got ourselves a bit of a problem here. We've got a couple of zombie guys chasing after our mercenary friend here. Let's try and help him out. Hey, don't shoot at me, I'm just trying to help, asshole. Yeah, that's what you get. Yeah, so we've got now two things to worry about. We've got mercenaries and the zombie folk wandering around. Fun thing we can do, rather than kill them, we can just melee them off the side of the boat. Damn it. Just you wait right there. Hey, where'd you go? Must have fallen off the side of the boat when I wasn't looking. Here's a game mechanic you don't see very often in these early stages of the game. If you get grabbed by one of these zombie guys, you end up kind of getting into a quick time event of a sort. You just have to hammer your action button and then you break out of this. What it does is that it wears down your resistance meter, and whenever that is all the way down, it then starts to drain your health as well. If you hammer the action button, then that'll fill up a little bar, and once it gets to the top, you'll have an opportunity to shoot the guy in the head, and it'll be a one-shot kill, but this time I didn't get it. Here it is with the actual kill. A little bit close to the wall, but not to worry, we'll be seeing plenty more of those later on in the game. And now on to the next hazard we have to deal with. Well, actually we only have to deal with it here and never again. Oh, luckily enough it's not that bad. You get ample opportunity to lift yourself up. It's only kind of a minor thing really. The only real danger that it poses is if you're not actually centered over one of the holes. It's possible for you to hit the side of the railing and lose a tiny little bit of health doing it that way. Also, if you're standing up over here and you've got nowhere to go, it just pins you in place until the rolling motion is over. And also, the effect actually stops once you get over the halfway point of the deck. Can do, however, is if you've got enough momentum or you time it just right, it can take you over the opposite edge, but most of the time you just end up just adding to your running momentum and running really fast. And on top of that, the enemies are affected by it too. Sometimes that comes in very handy. There you go, that's two of them straight off the side. We're going to jump to wireframe here just to show what happens to the enemy when they do fall off the side. They fall and keep on falling. The ocean is a very deep place. Alright, so off we go. What we're going to do is take the storeroom route instead of going along the top. And before I talk about that, just going to cast our mind back to that room that was off to the side, where I had that chat about hidden rooms and things. Here it is again, but this time it's populated by even more enemies. And it's also got itself some other ammunition in here. I wonder what that's for. Ah! Stop picking things up! That was a cheap trick. Usually at set points during the game, the rooms will repopulate with different enemies and things like that. It doesn't happen very often. It certainly doesn't ever really seem to happen in these side rooms like this. So back we go, we're heading off to the storeroom, and the reason we're going to be doing that is because if we go up to the radio room, we get this.
The radio room must be up these stairs. I have to find a magnetic card.
Bollocks. Well, we haven't actually been told where that is, so we're just going to have to wander around and hopefully a clue will present itself. Also, there's another reason to go through the storeroom. Ooh, that looks like an AK to me. Seems a little bit too quiet. I don't think Mr. Bony Arm here is going to be any trouble, especially not after we do this. Let's see if we could sneak up. We got a bit of paper there to pick up as well, but the AK comes first. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Oh god, a spider zombie! Cheeky little git. Let's take a look at that again. Here he is hanging on the roof. What you can do is you can just leave the room and then come back in, and then he's kind of reset to be just a normal zombie again. This hanging from the roof thing is kind of a one-off thing. So if we were to come in and not actually pick up the AK, because that's what he's tied to, we can just walk past him. And you know what the creepy part is? He's looking at me. But if we get close enough to the door, he'll drop down anyway. And of course, if you come in and just fire at the guy, he'll drop down as well. It doesn't appear to actually hurt him, it just triggers the dropping animation a little bit early. Get some more ammo for our lovely AK and pick up that fire extinguisher note. As you might expect, the note's about shooting the fire extinguishers, and when they blow up they do cause quite a bit of damage. You should read the note, it's actually kind of weird. It says if you shoot the extinguisher in the middle of a firefight with an enemy, you're the one who gets blamed for any additional damage the extinguisher causes. We've got a fresh zombie here, you can tell because he's not all mangled up like all the rest are. We can shoot him, or we can do this. Either way, it's pretty shocking. Sorry. Our objective said we have to look for the radio room, but we know what happens if we do that. Where we need to go is actually through this door. Oh, buggers run into the room. If we had come via the radio room and come down in the opposite direction, we would have gotten the same thing, just slightly different. It's like we need to be heading in here. Oh, we've got something shiny to pick up. Oh, no, we've got company. I think it's fairly obvious what we're going to do here. Right, so now that we've got some time to ourselves, we can take a look at this contraption that's in the room with us. This is particularly interesting. The writing on the thing itself says experiment number 5. And there's actually a graphical bug here where you're supposed to be able to see what's inside, but for whatever reason the setting for that shader is just set to non-alpha. But if we switch to wireframe mode, we can see that there is some sort of mass in there. Something with a kind of wires or maybe tendrils or something coming off it. I do know what's inside and I will show you, but not right now. I'm gonna leave it for maybe another 2 videos or so because it's a bit more relevant then.
It looks like this will do the job.
Remember the yellow door that had a handle but we couldn't open it? Well, this is how we open it. We have an elaborate key now. From around the corner comes another zombie, and this guy is very special. He seems to be infinitely respawning. Well, not while we're in the room at least. We have to leave and come back, so we'll kill this guy and then we'll get on with that. We'll just go back in time a little bit before we kill the guy that was in this room and just pop in and out a few times just to show what's happening. While this is going on, I just kind of want to point out something else, that whenever you kill an enemy, or whenever you shoot them in the head and kill them that way, sometimes, well, they do one of 4 things. They either immediately die and fall over, or they do up to 3 swings. They can do 1, 2, or 3. And each time they do that, they take a step forwards. Now, sometimes that can be kind of like a worst nightmare situation if you're in a very tight corridor and there's nowhere to step back. They will keep coming towards you and keep swinging. Even though you should really be rewarded for getting headshots, sometimes it can really bite you in the arse, and that's something that really worries me when it comes to extreme mode. There we go. Sometimes he appears and sometimes he doesn't. Most of the time he does. What a jerk. And while I was doing that, I got into the situation where I didn't have any ammo left, so I thought I'd show off how you're supposed to deal with running out of ammo. You just melee them over and over. and then when he's down you can use the interact button to stomp on his head. And then when you pilfer him, hopefully you'll get some more ammo. Okay, we're done here. We've got the wheel to the door so we can move on. But first we're going to stop into the armory. We can refill all of our ammo, and then we can also show off the AK as well. Good fire rate. And when you hold down the button, of course the bullets tend to stray up a little bit, but the spread isn't too bad. All the bullets seem to be fairly centralized. It's definitely not a weapon for precision, but when you're on the deck and things are waving about, it's probably just as good as the pistol. So the door we need to be opening was down these steps, then through the portside cold rooms, or through the watered area. So off we go. And now's about the time where we can show what the electrical box being shot will do to this body of water. You can see that the water is rolling with the ship. It's going to rise up on the right hand side. Eventually, whenever the ship rolls back again, it'll come up on the left and you'll see what happens. And the corpse's head exploded just off camera, unfortunately, so we missed it. Anyway, more on that later. Let's go inside. I like the layout of this room quite a bit because when you first come in it obscures, well, you'll see in a second. There's another door over here that we can't get through. I'm presuming it's going to be like the opposite side where we're going to need something for to open it.
The damn thing's stuck.
And if you're wondering what the red valves document was about, it's about these. Shoot the valve and it sets off a jet of flame. Eventually the flame goes away and just leaves this little bit of gas, and you can shoot it again to set it off a second time and as many times as you want. You should check out the document. The reason for it is pretty funny. Oh, Orca. Wow, it's all torn up. Someone really did a number on it. That's not very pleasant at all. I'm not picking that thing up. Do you think I'm stupid? Taking a look about, we've got a slope here. There's a doorway up at the top which we can't open, but that opens up onto the deck of the ship, I'm guessing, and the whatever catch they get would be taken down in here. This also gives me a chance to show off how, just something a bit weird, if you start aiming with the pistol, just watch Tom's wrist. It gets all weird and bent out of shape whenever he's on a slope anyway. For me, it does something weird to the eye when I'm trying to aim this way when I'm on a slope. When the wrist bends like that, I find it a little bit extra difficult to aim at things because I'm wondering why the body isn't pointing the same way that the laser sight is, and it's kind of weird in my head. Anyway, the sides of the room have these big doors that we can't open, and they've got something about them that annoys me. Back up in the balcony here, and if you look at the height difference between the big door and the yellow one, you can see that the top and the bottom kind of meet at the same place. But if we go out back into the watered area, you can see that the positions are completely wrong vertically. They don't match up at all. It's one of the few places in the game where things don't line up correctly. But something else here, and this one bears a little patience. Okay, if we look at the door, we can see that it's got sort of the yellow wheel handle thing. Check it out in wireframe. You can see that yes, it indeed is there. Turn that off and look at the other door and you can see that it's there, but when we move close enough it disappears. Let's move back, it appears again. Well, this particular thing is that if you shine the light a certain distance away, it picks up on a wheel that isn't there, and when you move close enough it just doesn't show up at all. And if we flip into wireframe, you can see that the wheel actually is there. It's just been inverted and it's out the other side of the door. I'm presuming that at some point later on, for that wheel to appear, they'll just flip an axis and then it'll show up on the correct side. Here's some fun with the door labels. Down there's main deck, that's fine. The door up here, nothing appears for it, but that says whaling/fish hold, which is the same as the door that we came in from. And that one down there says cargo compartment and cold, which is a bit weird. I love Tom's reaction here.
Son of a bitch!
Anyway, we've got some nasty things to deal with. These are exo-cells, and they're coming out of the fucking whale. When you get a shot off, they curl into a ball and then they roll away. As it turns out, you need to shoot them twice to kill them, and they just evaporate into a little sort of yellowy, orangey mess. I'll just let them speak for themselves. They kind of move around all weird, and they can attach themselves to the ceiling and stuff. It's quite majestic, I guess a word you could call it, when they're kind of flying past you when you don't expect them. Yeah, other than that, they're kind of a nuisance. They're the nuisance enemy of the game. As you might expect, they're pretty dangerous in big numbers. I'll just show you how that works. In the meantime, however, why are they in the whale? Did they come from the... Did the ship catch this whale with these things inside them? I wonder. I wonder how it ties into those zombie bastards that are wandering around. I mean, I guess that's one theory. We catch a fish, open her up, there's all these fucking beasties inside, and then they, I don't know, infect people? Because they've got those tenderly things that were sucking my health away. That's a theory. Let's move on. Let's see that again with more guys and some I don't know, some nice in-game music. I quite like it. That's more like it. So, in all that hubbub, we've managed to pick up the key to the radio room, so we can pretty much just make our way there through the only way we can, really. We can't backtrack anyway. Oh, company. Let's see how the AK holds up. That's not so bad. I've seen worse. Let's take a look at how that was put together in wireframe mode. Get ourselves into a reasonable position to look at things, and you can see that there's a disembodied axe chopping at the door twice before it disappears and turns into the enemy. And here we have the first drawback that we have with other weapons, is that they don't have a light on them. And that's a pretty useful thing. So switch back to the pistol. So here we've got a map of this particular floor, which bears a lot of resemblance to the one from the manual. It says deck -1 there, when really it should be deck 1. It's the manual's got some typos. Over here we've got some pictures of ships. Those 3 pictures come from one texture. The one at the bottom writes it 90 degrees to itself. A whole bunch of bottles, presumably a booze over there, and a dirty sink, and that's it. And here's something else that I didn't mention last time, is that the room beside this one is actually part of the same sort of room. It's whenever you go through the door, it fades out rather than jumps to black and then loads in the next room. It just teleports us there instead. It's all part of the same map chunk.
Great, it's locked.
And while I'm here, I'm going to show off the one room we have left. That is this one, so I mean, it's fully formed, so I presume that the door will be removed at some point, I guess. But what's this? Shotgun. I wonder how we get inside. Well, maybe we'll find out later on. But before we do move on, I want to show just one last thing. Listen to the rain hitting against the window. I really like that sound. I like it when, if I'm asleep in bed and get woken up by a rainstorm or something outside, I can hear the rain hitting the window and know that I'm cozy and safe inside. It's a good sound. It's got good connotations for me, and I really like hearing it. Let's move on. Given another 3 exo-cells to deal with, it's no big deal. We know exactly what we need to do, we'll make short work of them, and then we'll get cracking on to hit up the radio room. The actual Russian words on the sign says at the top Captain, then below it says bridge, but apparently when you use both words together it means the bridge. It's an interesting thing. And secondly, the words on the door that lead to the radio room apparently says item management. But we're not going there yet, we're going out to the upper deck. We're going to have ourselves a little look around. Get our way around the back here and we can see that there's a lot of barrels for a start.
Looks like the wrong way.
And it lets us know that we're going the wrong way, but that's okay. We've got the rear deck behind us, but it's missing some things. I mean, most notably is the swinging burning crate, which should be right down there, and also the other swinging crate, which should be much further off in the distance. For some reason it doesn't bother to spawn those two objects. Got ourselves some AK ammo, good stuff. Take a little trip down these steps and that'll put us level with the captain's room and the galley and the showers and that particular level. If we look over the railing here we can see where we started the game, and here is the block stairwell that we couldn't get up, and obviously we can't get down it either. Wander off this way and we can we've got a door here on our right and we can see across the front deck. The door itself leads to, I'm going to get a decent look at the sign, to the captain's room, but as you might expect, it's locked. And because we're near the captain's room, on the left on the wall there should be a window, but there's not. That's one little inconsistency. So back upstairs we go, and along here is another door. Now this leads into the opposite side of the bridge.
Great, it's locked.
We can just ignore that. Next on our tour is up to this particular area. It's called the Nest, although that in Russian apparently means top or Mars, the planet Mars. Takes us up here, and we've got a health pack, but we don't need that. We can get it later if we have to. And for some reason we've got some very, very shiny floors. Very reflective. Except for that doesn't reflect. Anyway, we can make our way up to the crow's nest from here. It's a bit of a trek and it looks very nice. Lovely. Okay, back down we go. We've got a mission to get on with. Right, here we go. Into the bridge room.
It's unlocked.
Alright, let's see. What? Where's that coming from? Is that coming from the radar room? Yeah, it is. But the radio room over here. This is really unnerving that it's screaming away, but it's not in the room, so we're okay. Let's take a look at the bridge. There's a bunch of widgets and dials and things. We've got some ammo we can pick up, but there isn't really anything else to interact with.
Great.
But remember the door to the bridge that we tried earlier that was blocked? Well, this is that door, and we can't go through there. Here's something wacky that I randomly found out while I was in this room. When you're looking at a sign and you're pointing at it, obviously it tells you what it says in English, but that seems to be the case no matter where your gun is pointed. So when you do the melee attack and your gun swings across, if it's pointing at something during that part of the animation, then you get a brief little glimmer of it. Obviously working exactly as intended.
This looks like the radio.
Aha, mission accomplished. Now we can use the emergency code and get the hell out of here. But to guarantee that we can actually have a quiet conversation, we're going to go and kill this nosy fuck. Here's a little wireframe look from the bridge. You can see the guys there floating in the void. Got a note there that eventually we'll pick up once we get inside the room. He's just standing there screaming away.
This looks like the radio.
Funnily enough, a radio being in the radio room. Well done, Tom. And we'll go through and kick his ass in a second. Just gonna look around here. It's some stuff I can't interact with. Okay, right, let's go. Ah, peace and quiet at last. Okay, so what do we have here? This is the radar room, and here are a bunch of maps. Now the fun thing about these maps is that they show an area in the middle of the Atlantic. You can see the Caribbean off to the left and Africa off to the right. And there's a third map which appears to show a route that goes from the North Sea all the way down to the southern tip of South America. It's all very fascinating stuff, especially given the fact that we're not in the Atlantic, we're somewhere else, which we'll come to in another video, but that's way off in the future. A letter about spears, only the finest spoiler material. This actually doesn't come into play until the start of the next video, so we can ignore it for now, but it's about a weapon that we'll be getting pretty soon. Well, we're pretty much done here. We can go in and actually trigger the radio and get our asses off this fucking ship.
Bravo 7-9er, can you hear me?
Who am I speaking to? Where's Lansing?
Lansing's dead. This is Hansen. Everyone else is down.
Bloody hell. Then I guess we're stuck with each other, Hansen, but you're not the only survivor. There's still a very dangerous man loose on that ship. Colonel Dmitry Yusupov. He needs to answer a few questions. Round him up, and then we'll get you out of there.
Who's we?
I'm CIA Special Agent Bennett, Mr. Hansen. Patch this frequency through your headset. You might need my help. Bennett, out.
Great. Just great.
Ah, the CIA. Well, I guess that explains the guys in the intro cutscene who came down off the helicopter and got all mangled up. And that explains who the guy with the glasses was. That's Bennett. Say hello. But who is this Yusupov? He sounds like a bad man. He sounds like he might know a thing or two, so I guess we should do what he says and not fucking say get us off this zombie-ridden ship.
So where's this guy I'm looking for?
Rear deck house. We got a fast satellite look through the cloud cover and pinpointed him.
Must be nice. I'm on my way.
No you didn't. No you didn't, you fucking liar. Have you seen the fucking storm out there? You did not get any look through any cloud cover. Piss off. Anyway, let's go. Okay, let's... Oh, we got some company. Right, anyway, okay, we need to get to the rear deck house. Let's see, we should go out over the front deck for that one and then through the storeroom, and that'll lead us out right to the rear deck. But I'm just going to zoom all the way down here through this, just to show you why we can't go this way. Maybe now's a good time to check on this key lock door. Okay, maybe next time. As I've shown before, when we get to this door, we can't go through. This is a one-way door, so we're kind of stuck. So, okay, back up we go. Fuck! Fucking respawning bastard. So, time to backtrack. We'll zoom all the way up and we'll head out to the front deck. But before we go out there, we have to make a quick pit stop. We're going to drop into the, eventually when we point at it, into the galley here. And thanks to Fruit Punch Samurai for pointing this out to me. I had no idea this existed, and apparently the entire internet didn't even know about this either. Usually what I do is just sort of compare my own knowledge with FAQs and things like that, and just generally trawl everywhere trying to find every scrap I can, but behind this bit of glass is another document. Now this is extremely spoiler heavy, so I'm not going to say anything about it, but read it at your own risk, but eventually we'll cover the topics included. Okay, dokay. Front deck, let's go. Looks like we got a firefight going on out here. Let's help things along, shall we? All we've got left to do is to take care of the zombie folk. See, they're having a hell of a fucking hard time aiming. One last guy. Hooray! And now we can take the quick way down. Ta-da! I give it a 7.2. A bit overkill, we'll pop this guy in the face. And his buddy. I got lucky, because sometimes if they're too close they'll get it all burned up. Ow! And if we wanted to, we could skip the entire encounter and just drop off the first gap in the railing. Usually we'll get shot at, but because we're playing on normal, it's not really that much of a problem. And here's a feature of the game that Barry John reminded me of in the thread. I knew it existed, but I'd never actually tried it before. You can hang on to the railings in order to steady your aim, and it means that you move with the ship, so your sight never moves. So it's actually really good. Fortunately, it has a severe Y restriction, so I can barely aim down at all. See, it's very, very difficult to actually aim and hit anything. It's just easier to go arm free and just aim down that way. Example of how good the steady aim is. I'm grabbing onto a rail and I'll just quite quickly kill these guys. And of course there's always a downside, other than the vertical limit. What we've got here is that whenever we run out of ammo we don't automatically reload, and we can't reload until we actually let go of the railing. Right through the store. Oh. Yeah, sometimes this room gets a little weird with the lighting. Yeah, I don't know. Remember this door? Say goodbye. Don't know what the hell was hitting that door, but it hit it very hard, and now the door's stuck and there's no way for us to get through at all. Looks like we're never coming this way ever again. Ah, smell you later, sucker! Oh god, he's fast! Right, let's make our way forward, so we're getting onto the rear deck now, and we'll find that there's actually a bit of a commotion going on. At the rear deck house, we got a couple of mercenaries who are firing at a slowly converging ring of zombies. The best course of action here is to actually get up close to the rear deck house, go up this particular set of steps, so it locks off a line of sight with the mercenary guy, so that if they decide they want to start shooting at us, they can't get a direct line of fire. Something else to point out, if we come here when there's not a lot of noise and music and stuff playing, we can see that the flare isn't actually burning anymore, which is nice. It's good that it burned out. However, if you get close enough, you can hear it still burning. Once we're up here, what we can usually do is kind of wait until the mercenaries have been killed by the zombies. Usually by some point they've actually shot some of the zombies down, so that kind of it doesn't kill them, obviously. We have to actually take the heads off, but it gives us just less to worry about for the time being. That's the crisis over. That's everyone dead, and it probably wasn't very apparent during that firefight, but here's a little example showing that the zombies now have guns. Oh shit, and that swinging thing does hurt quite a lot. It can knock you on your arse and you can get your shit torn out pretty quickly. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I guess I will see you next time. Next time on Cold Fear.
My name is Tom Hansen. I'm a friend.